Hi everyone, it's Rax bringing you a video we've been looking forward to for a long time, the release of the Path of Exile Maxroll branch. Let me take you through the news post and take you through on a little tour of everything that we have, because there are a lot of cool things here that you might miss if you don't have someone showing you. So obviously Path of Exile is one of the best ARPGs of all time. We're very happy to cover it, but it's also one of the most complicated games. So we have a new teaching style where we're going to hold your hand a little bit more rather than just spraying guides everywhere and hoping that you find your way, to hopefully take you from never having played to beating the end game. So you'll start in the Getting Started section. Has a first steps guide, that's where you'll start. And if you want to have a full campaign walkthrough, that'll be there for you, written by Enki. And then we have attributes, damage, defense, flasks, passive skill tree for beginners, how to power up, loot filters, options and keybinds, all of that basic stuff that you're going to need. The Atlas is Path of Exile's endgame mapping system. We have 11 guides written for it. That's how important it is. So read them and understand it, and you'll be ready to dominate. Our build guides section is divided into 5 different parts. League Starters is by far the most important one. This is a build that you can start on that you've never played before, got no clue what to do. We're going to take you step by step from very beginning of the game all the way into the end game. We have a cool new section called Milestones. When you beat the campaign, you're going to be in the beginning of the end game. We're going to have certain milestones to get you out of the beginning. Then you go to the middle part of the end game. Going to have certain milestones where you update one item line by line, exactly how you would do that. And then finally into the true end game of the build. And then you're going to be dominating. So these League Starters in like a Microsoft Word document are like 45 pages long. It's not going to appear to be 45 pages long. I'll show you one in a second because of the nested tabs and the way that it's organized. But it is very, very difficult for us to make these League Starters, so we really hope that you enjoy them. It's kind of the bread and butter of Maxroll. The endgame builds have not been our focus for launch. We only have one right now, but these are like the ultimate, really expensive builds that can just crush the game. We're already working on new ones, and we'll have a bunch of them released throughout this season, and there will be many more going forward. But when you get there and you only see one right now, that's because we put all of our emphasis in getting out all the resources for the beginners. The new builds section is going to be pretty cool. A lot of the people on our team are theory crafters, and they're theory crafting all these new builds that might work. So if you want to see the progress on how that's coming, you can see it there. But these new builds are not guaranteed to work at all. When we have proven them in battle, we will make them into either League Starters or endgame builds. Twink leveling is when you want to level up other characters and you already have some currency to show you how to level up super quickly. And finally, Archive is where the builds that don't work the same way get moved to. So if we have a build that is essentially obsoleted, we're not just going to update it to the next league, Lake of Calandra, and call it good. That's not how we do it on any branch. If it doesn't work anymore, we're going to remove it and we're going to put it in Archive. You're going to see some of the builds that we already made were already bricked and already put in Archive. So that's the way that it goes. Got a currency section. That of course is the entire purpose of playing ARPGs, is to farm currency and really good items. We're going to teach you how to do that there. League and Master mechanics. If you don't know how the leagues work, well, you're not going to be able to make any currency, right? So we're going to teach you how those operate. The bosses section, I think MBX wrote almost all of those guides, so he's going to teach you how to beat every single boss. You did a really nice job. I'll show you that in a second. And then the resources, well, we have a bunch of other guides that we wrote that didn't quite fit into the other sections. And so here's a million more things to read if you want to learn everything about the game. And finally, crafting is such a huge section in Path of Exile that we're going to make an entire section about it by next league in 3.2. Spicy Sushi is working on that, and we'll probably get more people to work on it as well. But we've got a big crafting section coming for you, so look forward to that. So one very important topic in Path of Exile is real money trading. Maxroll hates it, everybody hates it, etc. So we asked our ad provider, NitroPay, and unfortunately we have to run ads or we're just going to shut down. We asked NitroPay, please get rid of these RMT ads for PoE. And they sent us this big long spiel, and you can read it yourself. And they essentially said, we can't do that, but what you can do is if you report the ad, then it's gone forever. So we're going to do this, and we're asking for your help. If you see an RMT ad anywhere, click it, hit report, and say this ad is offensive to me. That will purge it from Maxroll forever. Once we do that enough times, hopefully we'll get rid of them. But unfortunately, they target the websites that use PoE terminology, so it's probably going to be there for a while. Just letting you know, we tried to get rid of them, and you can see the response right here. We have an amazing team of amazing people, amazing content creators. Please click through these and read more about them and check them out. Joining the community. We're a small part of the PoE community. We just got here. We're not trying to take over. We don't have that attitude at all. We would just like to be a part of it, and we want to bring people into it and help it grow. That's all. There are so many amazing content creators out there that you guys should check out. Not just our own content creators, but on Twitch and on YouTube. There's a ton of amazing people. Too many to name. And there's a lot of other amazing sites, you know, Awaken PoE Trade, Craft of Exile, Filter Blade, Path of Building, etc. We've linked them here. You're going to see us reference them all the time. We put them in our resources section. They're all right here. We are actively telling you that they're amazing resources and to go check them out. Not trying to take over, trying to become a part of the community. Just wanted to make that message clear. And we will listen to feedback. We will. If you go on Discord, you give us some feedback or talk to any of our content creators, let us know. On Discord, if you have a problem with the guide, tag the author, say, hey, this is my problem, and they'll take a look at it, all right? So let's just take you on a very quick tour. We got the news up here. Down here is kind of a cool thing. A lot of the people on our team make YouTube videos about, you know, the top 10 reworked uniques by Palsteron, etc. So if you guys are ever interested in checking out some additional things, look down here and see what kind of YouTube videos they're making. Let's go to the getting started section. Obviously, beginner guides, first steps. Okay, you go here. All right, just getting into Path of Exile, selecting a league, a class overview, progressing through the campaign, basic stuff. Read that first, and then we have a full campaign walkthrough. I think I added to this. I think this is Enki's guide. Yep. Start in Act 1. Here's the first place. Is there a waypoint? Is there a boss? Here are the quests and what you can get. Blah, 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 blah. You go down a little bit further. Okay, why didn't that work? Here we are. Okay, there's a waypoint here. There's a boss here, and it's optional. Pretty much Enki, what I learned from editing this guide with Enki or working on it with him is you just skip everything in the game. So skip everything. And don't do any of the side quests or do them later, and he's going to tell you how to rip through it as fast as possible. There's a lot of things. The passive skill tree, damage, defense, options, and hotkeys. Lots of good stuff here. You guys can look around, but these beginner guides are very important if you're just starting. Remember I told you for the Atlas, the endgame mapping system, that there's 11 guides, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. So start with the Atlas Explained by Chewy. He can certainly teach you. Okay, these are the different tiers of maps. Here's the favorite map slots. By the way, you're going to notice there's a little bit of like, what should we call it, Aussie English in here. You're going to see a lot of extra U's and a lot of different words. That's the way it is in Path of Exile. We just decided to roll with it, so it's all good. It's phrased the same way that you'll see it in the game, etc. So there's all the Atlas guides. So now we go into the build guides, and this is probably the thing you're going to care about the most. And once again, the most important thing here is the league starters. Okay, you have a different filtering system, but these league starters are these huge, gigantic guides that are going to take you all the way through the game. You can put it on your second monitor and hopefully just rip through it. So I don't know, who do I want to pick on? Let's pick on Palsteron, why not? So many things here. So first of all, this is going to tell you a little bit about what you're going to expect in the guide. This is going to tell you how difficult it is. I think the easiest way to read this is just read the words on the bottom. Green is good, red is bad. So this looks like a very cheap build. You know, you don't want to farm a lot of currency and still want to dominate. This might be a good one for you. This is going to show you the skills. You can click all of these and see the different ones and understand that. The ascendancy thing, remember, you can click through these. A lot of these things are interactive. If it looks like you can click it, you probably can click it. This is true on pretty much anything on Maxroll. If it looks like it's an embed, you can mouse over it and it'll tell you exactly what it is, right? So make sure that you guys are taking advantage of these tools. Sometimes they just go here and they say, well, how do you progress through it? Well, you click on one and you go through it like that, all right? The playstyle, the mapping, the bossing, how to scale your offense and defense. That's kind of weird spelling. That's okay. We'll go with it. No problem. What else can I show you? We got key build information, mistakes to avoid, leveling by tie Killer. How many of you know who this guy is? Isn't he one of the best speedrunners of the game in the world? Well, guess what? He wrote every single leveling section, all of them. So, I mean, you're learning from one of the best, so should be a pretty good feeling. It's going to take you through exactly what to do. In Act 1, your first step is to get to level 2. Do this, talk to this guy, do this spell does this, so use this thing, do this. Purple is NPCs, talk to this person. Step 2, do this, blah, 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 all the way through. You want a little cheat sheet? Do this. There's the cheat sheet after you're used to it. Okay, Act 7. Okay, Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this, etc. Okay? So full leveling guide for your build. This is not generic. This is very specific to this build. So that's why it takes us so long to make these guides. You have to write it every single time again for how each different build levels up. And then you can also use these little arrows if you'd like, all right? This thing, by the way, this thing has a slider. At level 2, you do this, and then look. Oh, a lot of people don't know that these things are there. Slide it around, and then you'll know exactly how to build your character, okay? This thing. I open this, open it in a new tab. This is this button. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. This is our little tool. Okay. Can show you how to do it. And guess what? Down here, click it, click wherever you want to go. Start from the beginning, and here's how you do it. Okay. It shows you step by step exactly what to do. All right. Again, the rule is if it looks like you can click it, then you can click it. It's got leveling, mid-game, and end-game here as well. Okay, mapping preparation, the modifiers, how you would farm the content for the early game, the mid game, the end game, the pantheon. I'm sure this works. I just don't know how to do it. We got a little slider right here. Okay, mid game, end game. Remember I told you about the milestones? Oh, let me get down here. Okay, milestones. Here we go. So when you're in the early game, this is the basic idea that you want to do, and here's how you would do it. We need to get decent rare gear. So here's how you would do it. You need to get your sockets, your colors, and your links in order. You need to get this tabula rasa, which is, that's a 6 link with nothing on it, right? Can you tell I don't have much experience with this game? You get the gold, do these flasks, okay. Get a +2 gem level bow, upgrade your body armor, okay. And then you get done with all that and you say, all right, I'm ready to go to the mid game. This is the basic idea of what you want to do. So now we need to get this heavy belt, we need to get our accuracy in order, need to get spell suppression gear, need to do this, so you understand, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you go to the end game and say, all right, now it's going to start to get expensive. We need to get awakened support gems, need to get a cluster jewel, need to get a polaric devastation, who knows what that is? Oh, it's this thing. Yeah, that looks like a good one. That's got to be an end game item, right? Etc., etc. So use the milestones when you get to the end in early game and go through step by step. Do this, do this, do this. And once you're done, you're in your mid game and then you're in the end game. That's how you actually can progress step by step by step to the very end. All right. So that is the league starter. That's probably the most important thing we can offer you and the thing that we put the most time in. Remember, for end game, we only have one build live. These are the super, super end game builds. We are working on many of them. They will be coming out over the league. We'll have many, many in due time. Don't worry. But we're focusing on the league starters for the launch. And up here we have the new builds. This is going to be all the experimental stuff that's not quite ready yet. If it's fantastic, it'll become a build guide. And if it's not, it's going to be, I don't know, archived or trashed. Twink leveling. This is if you're going to level up a second character. It's going to teach you how to do that. Probably not the most popular thing, but some content there for you guys. And then archive. Anything that got ripped, well, here we go. Some stuff already got ripped. Bosses. This is probably pretty self-explanatory. You go to the bosses and you want to know how to beat them. Well, this is how you beat them. So let's look at Maven. MBX, I think, if he didn't write all of them, he wrote almost all of them. It's going to explain to you he's one of the pinnacle bosses. This is his loot table. Here are all of his different abilities, and there's a lot of them. Tells you exactly the type of damage, how to deal with it, and it'll show you a little video of exactly how it works. It's going to tell you the audio cues for it, etc., etc. Help you beat it. More of the mechanics, more of the different phases. As you can see, this is a tough boss, etc., etc. It's going to teach you how to beat all the bosses. So shout out to MBX for that. Farming currency. This is important. Lake of Calandra. I watched the announcement. Looked really cool. So what do we have here? Obviously, we don't know everything about it, but we know at least what everybody knows from the announcement. So we talk about it, that getting the tablets, the tablet board, how you would choose the reflections, re-rolling the reflections, manipulating your tablet, how you would increase the difficulty. And one very important thing is we are going to be updating this guide continuously as we learn. So this will be a live guide throughout the season. And hopefully by the end, we'll know everything. And yeah, so that's how that will work. And then we got, a ton of other things. Like this is Alchemy is a very common way to build maps, right? You just throw in an alchemy and then you go. It's written. A lot of these are written by Grimro. I think he's known in the community as one of the very best currency farmers. So you can see this is a very, very popular way of doing it, and it's going to explain to you exactly how you will do it. Blah 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 blah. You know the drill by now. So that's going to teach you how to become rich. And then we have a bunch of different resources, like you probably saw this earlier, the Atlas passive tree. If you want to mess around, you can save your build, etc. You saw this, and then we have another one. We've got the passive tree here. Okay, you just go through and you start plugging away, right? So I'm sure you can figure that out. And that is our Path of Exile branch as we have it now. I really hope you guys like it. It took us 14 months to build this. A lot of time and effort, a lot of fantastic people on the team. Let's go to the team page real quick. Here they are. Chewy, Palsteron, Tripo, Crouching Tuna, Tai Grim, MBX, Woody, Spicy Sushi, Firegrass, Enki, and Terrence. There were also other people that helped from the other teams. I want to thank Macro and Lee and Dread and Liz and the other people on the revision team. We need to update, unless Alex, let's see, did he already update this? A lot of people on the revision team helped edit a lot of the guides. I think they helped a lot. We became good friends. So anyway, that's Path of Exile, guys. I hope you guys like it. I would love to know what you think about it. Mess around with it. Leave me a comment. I promise you, I will read it. And I hope it finds you well. Thank you.